I'm Danielle, and welcome to this enchanted house. It's Christmas, it's the holiday times, it's Yule. I'm going to actually start off with a disclaimer. I know I am pagan, and spiritually I celebrate Yule, but you know what? I'm okay with saying Christmas and celebrating Christmas in a secular way, because you know what? It's fun, and this is a holiday that has been celebrated for ages in various forms by northern cultures going back to the way beginning under different names and whatever you call it. A lot of this holiday is about, having fun and bringing joy to part of the darkest time of the year. So, and we're going to do that today using one of my favorite aesthetics, steampunk. Last year, I finally got together my steampunk trees. It's actually something I've been working on for like almost a decade of, searching for ornaments and trying to make things and trying to find even just the right tree. Last year, I found the right size tree on clearance, and so the tree finally came together. I was going to go through some of the elements that are going to go on the tree, and then I'm going to show you how I put the tree together. And then we're going to take that wreath I got from Spirit, that steampunk wreath, zhuzh it up, and it's going where the banner is now, because that's where the tree goes, is in that corner. You can see some of my Christmas stuff's already up. I'm like halfway through decorating, but I wanted to make this video so I could share with you guys the process. So, making a steampunk tree. Making any kind of Christmas tree, there's sort of an art to it, and you have to keep in mind, like, if it's just your family tree and you put whatever you want on it, I'm not going to judge you at all. But if you want to create a decorative tree that goes in a different room that's maybe just to help celebrate the holiday, there's a couple things to keep in mind. The first is scale. You have to scale most of your ornaments to the tree. I'm going to talk about this more as I go through the ornaments. You can have statement ornaments that are a little bigger, but most of your ornaments should fit with the scale of your tree. You don't want to have lots of big globes on a tiny tree. So that's the first thing to keep in mind, is scale. The second is colors. You should commit to a color scheme, and I'm not going to get judging and say, oh, it can be monochromatic. You can pick one or two complementary colors. You could pick like jewel tones and then go with all sorts of colors, but they're all in that jewel tone or pastel category. So picking a color scheme is important and sticking to it, but you have lots of variety when it comes to color schemes. If you want to do a rainbow tree and do all bright primary colors, you can do all the colors, but just kind of make sure they're in that same tone then. So those are the things to consider your tree. Putting together a theme tree on the sheep takes some time too. Like I said, I've been doing this for years. I've been looking out for things every year after Christmas sales that are on clearance, so I can get them better priced, and so selection goes down somewhat after that. But it's a trade-off. So I was originally inspired to do this tree by Jen and John Yates, who do Cake Rex is one of their blogs, but the blog I love them for is called Epbot, and they did a steampunk tree like a decade ago. So theirs is a very big tree, but I kind of drew some ideas and inspiration from it, and I want to make sure I credited them, and I'll have a link below to Epbot and the article on the tree. For steampunk, for my tree, for my color scheme, I decided to go just straight up metallics, because like if you can see in my headband and my earrings even, there's all sorts of different, there's silvers and golds and coppers and things, but they all really play together because they're all metallic. So there's a lot of metallic and a little bit of crystal going on with my steampunk tree. So there's different layers, and the first layer is what I call lights. My tree is pre-lit, and then I'm not going to show you the lights, you have to kind of watch for the tree, but I have some really beautiful, look like tin punch, but they're brass punch. They're cut out little stars, and they're very metallic, and they light up. I really wanted some Edison lights, but I've not found, Edison lights are huge, and they look really bad on the scale of my tree. I'm maybe thinking, I'll show you my tree topper I have now, but maybe if I upgrade ever, I'll do an Edison light bulb type tree topper. I think the Epbot tree has something like that, so I'd have to read it. So the first layer is your lights. Lights go on first if your tree's not pre-lit. Mine is pre-lit, and then I'll put on the decorative lights that go with it. The second layer is what I call the Garland Layers, and I have 3 different garlands, and I all got them relatively inexpensive. The first is I got these great copper-looking beads. They're very simple, but I got these when a craft store went out of business. It's always sad. There's a little, and then I got these more elaborate beads on an after Christmas sale, and then the last thing is some really simple craft ribbon, and this wasn't really particularly expensive. And this is actually, I think, for gift wrap, but it's got it's the wire ribbon, so it's very shapeable, and it's got that great metallic netting. So the next layer is your basic bulbs. These are just usually the simple round bulbs that will fill in the space, but sometimes, and depending how you do it, sometimes you can do them first or you can do them second to fill in. And I've done it both ways, and you get different results. I kind of like to go through, put them in first, because then they kind of just spread them out evenly, and then do my statement bulbs, which are the more interesting ones. But even your regular bulbs can be kind of interesting. So all of them are about this size. This is the right scale for my tree. And these are ones of my particular favorites because it's got this great like copper, and it feels very steampunk, just the colors of it. And then I've got these, and these are all plastic. I mean, I got these all after clearance sales. They're like these big things of all these decorative bulbs. I got these because they're mercury glass, which feels very Victorian, which is the other kind of element with steampunk. You want mechanical and Victorian kind of combined. So I got these, and they look really pretty too. And then these all came in one set. It was like one big set. And then there's these, which look kind of futuristic, but they actually kind of work because these kind of bulbs are more backgroundy, so they just kind of fill nice and they add a nice texture to the tree. And then there's a bunch that are just plain colored copper and gold that fill in. So next up are the statement ornaments, and first I'm going to kind of go through some of the ones I bought. I got these guys. I've got some great little clip-on animals here. They're all glittery. So I've got this owl, and he reminds me of the mechanical owl. He reminds me of the mechanical owl in the Ray Harryhausen movies. I'm totally blanking on it. I'm gonna post a picture right here of what I'm talking about. But he kind of reminds me of, I think it was Archimedes was the name of the owl. I have to double check. I might be thinking of another movie, but his eyes look like little gears to me. So. And then these guys have some very Victorian swirls on them, and I thought that looked very steampunk. Like, I don't know, mechanical animals just seemed very steampunk, and these both seem like they could be mechanical animals. Next up, I got these great bicycles. I mean, these are much larger, and there's not as many of them. I have like maybe, I think, 2 bicycles, a couple of the animals, and they'll get spread out more, and these look very Victorian and very steampunk. And I really wanted to make the balloon ornaments like I saw in that bot where she took the glass bulb ornaments, but they're plastic, and then made little airships and balloons out of them. I never got the chance to. I actually might still. I don't know. The tree's kind of full now. I'd have to get to a bigger tree. But I did get this one. I was the only one. This lovely little little balloon airship. And once again, see these. Scale compared, see these are much bigger cages, and they're copper, and they match the beading, and it kind of all ties together, and it feels very mechanical still. All right. The other thing I was gonna make is on Jenny H's tree. She got this little paint your own nutcracker kit, and she painted them all steampunk gold. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And I actually had one, and I still might do this too. But then I found these guys, and they're in the steampunky colors. They're already metallic, got a little shimmer to them and stuff. I don't know. I love his little fur boots. Like the fur, it's a nice little texture to add to it. That's not necessarily steampunk, but it helps sell the winter part of it. And the last thing, I got some really great looking antique keys, which feel Victorian, mechanical. Like you'd have to wind something up type thing. So let's talk about some of the ornaments I made. There are these, they're laser cut wooden gears. I got these on clearance at the craft store, in their like jewelry section, or maybe woodcut section. I'm not sure. I know I got them at my craft store, but if you go on Etsy, Tons of sellers. They're not very expensive. All I've done is I've taken some metallic ink markers and colored them and just glued them together and threaded them on strings, and then I just placed these throughout. Okay, so the last of my homemade ornaments I had huge help with. And so the other thing that happened besides me getting a tree was, so I belong to a local steampunk group, the Monroe Steam Salon, and was it last year? I'm going to have to double check, but because like 2020 has totally messed up my sense of time. But for 1 year, we did a steampunk Christmas ornament workshop, and all the supplies were provided by our member and good friend Terry Gower, who runs a crafting business where she does embroidery and designs things that could be cut out with laser cutters and all sorts of awesome stuff. I'm going to link below to her Facebook page if you want to check her out. She does amazing work. I don't know if she's has the steampunk stuff available right now, or if she's even open right now. Depends on when you're watching this and what she's doing. But she used to vend at cons. She vended at TeslaCon for years. Anyways, she provided us with some great materials to make some really cool steampunk ornaments. And my favorite are these top hats. So these are made out of paper, and she's laser cuts these kits, and we put them all together, just glue. And the only thing I did to judge mine up were I took the gear paper she cut out, and I went over it with metallic ink just to make it a little more shiny. But she did some other neat ones too. So I love these, which are it's a little. I'm gonna see if I can. There we go. Use my splash background. There's a little caroler scene in there. This is very just Victorian, but it works great on a steampunk tree. And then there's this little gift box with a little steampunk snowflake on it. And I don't know if it's easy to tell in the video, but it's got like, I used a little bit of a glitter on it. And then she gifted my family. She gave my husband, my kids, and me these wonderful embroidered steampunk stockings, which I'm going to hang on the little credenza over there. But she's amazing. I encourage you to go check her out. She does amazing work. If you see her at a con, I highly recommend stopping and getting something. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually decorate a little bit more in here, and we're going to get set up for Christmas, and I'm going to set up the steampunk tree and let you guys watch me set it up. Probably I'm going to try to speed it up. We'll see how I do with that. I didn't really get to talk about the tree topper so much. It's actually very simple. It's a Christmas bow, a broken ornament, and some gears that I just glued on, and it came together nicely. And maybe someday I'll try to do the light up Edison bulb topper, but I really like how this one turned out. Also, we can see the spirit wreath is back there. I didn't end up doing anything to it because everything I tried kind of seemed to overwhelm it. And I've had the thought of doing sort of like a laser cut snowflake gear, like a giant one to kind of mount it on and maybe give it some depth. But for now, I think it just looks nice back there as is. And if I think of something, maybe we'll do it. But anyways, and the other thing I still need to get is a tree skirt, and I'm hoping maybe I can find some steampunk material and make my own at this point. I'm just going to have to kind of keep an eye out for something I like that I think works, that's in the color scheme. Underneath there are some lanterns that I got. The Steam Salon has done a light parade for the Christmas in years past, and I got these last year on clearance thinking, oh, they'll be great for the light parade next year. Well, that didn't work out. And then I got these at, I'm blanking on it. I got these at the Home Goods. I got these at Home Goods. And they're still out in the dining room as part of the Adventures Club theme all year. And originally I thought maybe I could somehow use the diving helmet as a tree topper, but it's way too heavy. So for now, they're just sitting under a tree as part of the kind of come out of off their shelf that they usually sit on. So that's the Steampunk Christmas tree. I hope you all have a happy holidays. I'd love to hear about what you're doing for the holidays or how you decorate. So go ahead and leave me a comment below. Please check out my other videos. Please like this video, subscribe. If you want to check me out on social media, I will have links to my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter below. I've also started a Patreon, and I'd like to do some more cinematic type stuff and more interesting videos, so if you want to help me out and get started with doing that, I would be a huge fan of yours. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!